Hello, friends. I'm so happy to see you. It's another great day for a story. At my school today, it's Bulldog Pride Day. So I'm wearing my Centennial Bulldog shirt to show my pride for my school. Do you know what pride means? Pride means when you are proud of something and you're happy to talk about it and show it to everyone else. Um, you know, Today's story has a theme or an idea about pride and being proud. So I'm hoping you'll listen to this story, and when we're done, you can think of something that you're proud of. Are you ready? Great. Me too. Today's story is one of my favorites. It's an old story called Chrysanthemum. A chrysanthemum is a kind of a flower. The author of this book is Kevin Hankis. And this little mouse girl is Chrysanthemum. Here we go. Chrysanthemum by Kevin Hankis. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect, just like you. You are absolutely perfect. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. I hope you love your name. I'm sure your mommy and daddy worked very hard to pick it out. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. She loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. And she loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. Oh, I bet you've had your name written on a birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Do that with your name. Yeah, that was awesome. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile, and she ran all the way. Hooray, said Chrysanthemum, school! But when Mrs. Chud took roll call, that means take attendance, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. Oh, that's not nice. We don't laugh at names. It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on your name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. You're named after a flower. Chrysanthemum wilted. That's what flowers do when they need more water and sunshine, or when they're sad. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. Oh no! The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. How many letters do you have in your name? Fontanetta is a long name. Will somebody count the letters in Fontanetta for me? That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet, Victoria explained. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chud. Now put your head down. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, said Victoria, as the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School's no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag, and I'm named after a flower. Oh, pish, said her mother. Your name is beautiful and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. just like you. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup. Ooh, do you like that dinner? And an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. Parcheesi's a board game. Even Chrysanthemum's playing board games. You should play a board game today. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked into school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. She even looks like a flower, said Victoria, as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. Oh, poor Chrysanthemum. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, "A chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things." "Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria," said Mrs. Chutt. "Now put your head down." "I just cannot believe your name," Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. "Neither can I," thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Look at her sad little face. And Victoria's not a very nice friend. Oh, disappointing. "Welcome home," said her mother. "Welcome home," said her father. "School's no place for me," said Chrysanthemum. "They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me." "Oh, pish," said her mother. That means like never mind. "They're just jealous and envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced." "Jaundiced," said her father. "Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours?" said her mother. "After all, it's absolutely perfect," said her father. "Just like you." Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better. That means a little bit. After her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting. Ooh, maybe you like that. What's your favorite dessert? And another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. What's your favorite board game? Tell me that too. Ooh, that's a good one. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed she really was a chrysanthemum. Oh my goodness, look at that's the picture of her dream in her mind. Oh my goodness. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Ooh, what are your good luck charms? Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. That morning, the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Ooh, do you have a music teacher? Is your music teacher wonderful? Guess what? This music teacher's going to be great. Her voice was something like out of a dream, as if everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Mrs. Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. Music has magic that way. Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. La 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 la. Then she assigned roles for the class musicale. That means like a class play. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Joe was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger. And Chrysanthemum, oh dear, was chosen to be a daisy. Oh no. Chrysanthemum was chosen to be a flower. Oh no. Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy, Joe and Rita and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. "What's so humorous?" asked Mrs. Twinkle. Chrysanthemum was the answer. Her name is so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. She's named after a flower. My name is long, said Mrs. Twinkle. It is, said Joe. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Mrs. Twinkle. It would, said Rita, pointing. And, said Mrs. Twinkle, I'm named after a flower, too. You are, said Victoria. Yes, said Mrs. Twinkle. My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. I think it's absolutely perfect. Just like you. Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed. That means her cheeks turned pink. She beamed. That means she smiled really big. She bloomed. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. She's happy again. Joe and Rita and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. Call me Marigold, said Joe. I'm Carnation, said Rita, pointing. My name's Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. They all want to change their name to a flower name now. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. Epilogue. That means what happens after the story. Overall, the class musicale was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as a daisy. Victoria made the only mistake. She completely forgot her lines as the dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny, and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Mrs. Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course, she named her, yes, Chrysanthemum. Isn't that a great story? It's one of my favorites, and it reminds me to be proud of my name and reminds me to be proud of who I am and be proud of where I go to school and teach children and where you go to school, and be proud of your name and your family and all the wonderful things about you. Can you tell me some of the things that you're proud of? Oh yeah, I can tell you some of the things I'm proud of. I'm proud of my name, and I'm proud of where my family comes from. My family comes from a country called Greece. You should look for that on the map. And I'm proud of being a teacher, and I'm proud of being a mommy to 2 girls, and I'm proud of being Mr. Fontanetta's wife, and I'm proud of my long hair, and I'm proud of being healthy. I'm proud of being your friend. I hope you'll tell me all the things that you're proud of. I absolutely love hearing from you. You can comment on my story. You can share my stories. I love hearing from you. So whatever way you want to do that, please do. I hope you're having a good day so far today, and I can't wait to read you another story tomorrow. Goodbye, my friends.